Hey YouTube, welcome to the Off-Grid Mountain Homestead. Today's video is more of a listener than a looker. There ain't much to look at today but rain and mud puddles and water puddles, so I figured I'd give you a tripod shot of the fog coming in on the mountains here. A little bit of rain drizzle, but anyhow, today's is an intel report about chickens. There's a lot of stuff going on the internet, Facebook, YouTube. Everybody's panicking about chick shortages, chick prices, eggs, you name it. I'm sure most of you are aware of this. If not, you can feel free to look it all up. It's all over the internet. Everybody's panicking that chicks are going to be ridiculous expensive and short supply, so on and so forth for this year, but I'm not going to bore you with that. So this morning, first thing, our local feed store dropped their chick list for this year on Facebook. Mrs. Off-Grid is on their likes their Facebook page, so she got the list as soon as they dropped it. And started looking through the list at the breeds, good breed selection. And what surprised me the most is the amount of chicks that they're going to have this year. 1,600 chicks is their scheduled shipment for this year. Now, they got to rely on the hatchery to get those chicks in. So, it could be issues with that. But as far as everything is planned, they're going to get 1,600 chicks in this year, which blew my mind. And another thing that surprised me is instead of stopping in June like they normally do, they're going to have chick shipments all the way into December of 2023. So if you're curious about getting chickens, you can, our feed store locally, Southern Appalachian region, you could get chicks all into the late fall and start your backyard flock, or if you're interested in that kind of thing, or a big flock, whatever you want. So I was quite surprised by that. So called the old timer down at the store. I'm very familiar with him, deal with him all the time. He's the one I deal with exclusively for my feed and seed and needs like that. So called him this morning after I saw that list and just talked to him for a minute. Last year they got 800 chicks in, and so he's doubling this year. He's figuring a lot of people is going to want to get into the chicken, so he's smart. He's a smart old timer. He's wise. So he's doubling the order to try to help folks locally that want to get started in chickens. So I asked him the pricing. So I sat down. I was like, oh, this is going to be bad. Well, it surprised me, but in a good way. So for reference, last year's chicks were $4.25 to $5.75 breed specific. So this year's pricing, drum roll, $3.25 to $4.75 per chick. So that's awesome. They're cheaper than they were last year and the year before that. So I asked the owner, I said, when's the last time that the chicks were this cheap? He said 2019. Now we can't predict the future. There could be supply issues from the hatchery. It could be shipping problems, etc. But as far as everything is planned, it's looking like a good year to start chickens, at least locally. I mean, for the prices like that, that's hard to beat. I mean, $3.25 for a chick, that's not bad at all. Now, with that said, from the local feed store prices, see, I've got that wrote down right. You're keeping track of the notes. Okay, so I looked on Craigslist locally to try to see what full-grown chickens were selling for. So everybody's saying that full-grown chickens are going for $30, $40, $50. I've heard intel of that. There's some YouTube channels that are saying that, chickens in their area is going for $50. That could be local. I'm not sure. I don't know where you're at. I don't know what your pricing is. So I figured, what good is this video without intel? I had it ready to publish, pulled it back down to give you some real screenshots from Craigslist across the country. So here is a $50 hen located on the west coast of the United States. I blocked out all these Craigslist users' phone and contact information. Here is another full-grown hen from the west coast. So it looks like $45 on the west coast. So it appears the west coast is the most expensive place to purchase chickens. And I got another one here from New Jersey. So, East Coast, a little cheaper, $20 per hen for full-size hens. And then in the Gulf Coast area of Texas, $15 for a full-grown laying hen. Not bad at all. And then in Georgia, $9 for full-grown laying hens. So Georgia's a pretty good price. And here's the winner coming up. It is Tennessee. Tennessee has the cheapest price poultry per my Craigslist results from this morning. But locally, I checked for full-grown hens locally. You can get them for $10 to $15. Full-grown common breed chickens, which is not bad. I mean, somebody's put the time and the feed in to getting a chicken that big. Now, some of them are purebred, some of them are mutts, but there's another option for you there too. So I'm gonna give you a warning now. There's a lot of people the last couple of years that are flipping chickens. That's not flipping them upside down. I'm talking about flipping them like flipping houses, flipping cars. I've seen some that take the feed store chicks and then they'll keep them for a week, double or triple the price on them, so be aware of that. And there are some unscrupulous people that want to sell the chickens at a very high markup for what they are. They're trying to flip it, so just be cautious of that. Try to deal with your feed store if you can, is my recommendation. So, you know, yeah, there's cost of feed and growing them out, and I've seen some little, you know, chicken sellers, resellers, they'll get them and raise them up to 8 weeks and want $25 for a pullet. Yeah, they've got risk, of course, but I don't recommend spending $25 for an 8-week pullet. I think you'd be better off starting with chicks. Yeah, if you get them in the early spring, you might have to worry about keeping them warm and that kind of thing, feeding them chick starter, but you can wait towards summertime, and you can kind of delete the heat lamp depending on your geographic location. And another thing, a lot of feed stores, well, my local feed store especially, a lot of times they have leftover pullets that are 8, 10, 12 weeks old. And if you go in there at the right time, or you check with them, you might can snag you a 8, 10, 12 week old pullet for $7 or $8. And that's exactly what we did when we refreshed our flock. We bought 10-week old pullets, and they were $7 for a 10-week pullet. So that's the way I like to do it. I like them to take the risk and do the work and feed them to get them up to pretty good size little pullets, and then, you know, go in there and snatch them up for a bargain. That's my preferred method, but that all depends on your, you know, supply and demand in your area and stuff like that. So just a few little tidbits today. So I hope you liked today's video. If you don't mind, please hit that like button. And if you got any intel from your area on what the chicken forecast is looking like this year, pricing, availability, do you have chicken flippers in your area that's trying to ring people that don't know any better over the coals and get a bunch of extra money out of them for no work? Do you have that going on? Let me know. And if you're not subscribed, I'd greatly appreciate a subscription from you. And thank you for watching the Off-Grid Mountain Homestead.